Janet's on deck with evil dead chick. What's in store when you open the door? Step inside, my little ones. Bring your flashlight and good luck charms. Oh, and good luck charms. Oh. Might get dark. It might get scary. Maybe even a little insane. Crawl out from under the bed. Don't be afraid. Evil Dead Chick is here to entertain and thrill. Janet's on deck with Evil Dead Chick. Let's hang out till the sun comes up.
Howdy, gang. Hey, Blissful. And welcome to yet another edition of Dick's Picks. In a little bit, I'm going to be talking about and rating the two films, Four Times That Night and The Devil's Lover. So we're going to get into that here in just a little bit. But I did want to get some housekeeping stuff out of the way, remind people of stuff. Tomorrow night, I should be having another cannon fodder. Hopefully, it'll get to be earlier than this. I got behind yet again on watching the movies, wanted to make sure I got them watched. Didn't realize that I had watched most of The Devil's Lover with Steve not very long ago. So that's kind of a coincidence because it has one of his favorite women in it, Rosalba Neary, who, looks like a grandma now. She probably is. But back in the day, she was a hot property. I'll just say that. So we've got cannon fodder coming up tomorrow night. It's going to be The Happy Hooker Goes Hollywood and Schizoid, so be sure to tune in for that. We've got a horror movie and not a horror movie to talk about tomorrow night. I've never seen The Happy Hooker Goes Hollywood, so that'll be a new experience for me. But Schizoid, I've seen many, many times. It has good old Klaus Kinski in it. So Thursday, we should have another They're All Messed Up, and I will be talking about The Case of the Scorpion's Tail and Dario Argento's Cat o' Nine Tails. And Friday, me and Candace should have a rather short Friday Foolish because I'm doing a bonus watch along with my friend Hope. Hope's going to be on here with me talking about Terrifier 3. So if you can stand it, be sure to tune in and watch along with Hope and I as we delve into Terrifier 3. Keep in mind that this is going to be my first time watch for Terrifier 3. I've seen Terrifier and Terrifier 2, but this will be a first time watch for me on Terrifier 3. And that will be starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You say you'll be there, Blissful? All right. You're going to be there with bells on. Also, let's see. We've got a couple of watch-alongs coming up this weekend that you guys and gals voted in. So Saturday, March 8th, starting at, I think I'm going to make it later this time. I think I've got them set up for 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So keep that in mind as well. Those of you that have signed up to subscribe and get notifications, you will get notified whenever I have something coming up. So Saturday, March 8th will be Evil Laugh. That's a fun little horror movie if you've never seen it, with Scott Baio's brother in it, Stephen Baio. Sunday night, March 9th, also starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, will be Chopping Mall, a fun little movie about security robots gone awry in a mall after hours. So we got all that coming up. I also want to remind y'all that during any live streams I do, and this includes watch-alongs, it includes this thing tonight, I'm starting a new thing called Movie Roulette, where if you give a $5 or more super chat, it doesn't matter if 5 of you give $5 or more super chats, you will get to pick one movie for me to review. And it can be any movie that you want. It can be horror, it can be comedy, it can be sci-fi, it can be action. I would prefer it not be porno, but you know. So here's your chance to get me to review any movie of your choosing. Okay. The only way I won't review it is if I can't find it anywhere to watch, which is very, very rare. Okay. So, get your $5 or more super chats in during any live stream, including watch alongs that I do, and you get to pick a movie for me to review. If 5 of you do it, great. If 10 of you do it, great. If 1 of you does it, great. I'm really excited about this new series of streams that I'm going to be doing. And I hope that you guys and gals are as well. So now that I got, I blabbed on for about 8 minutes. Now we'll get to tonight's feature presentation. And we'll be talking about 2 more Dick Randall produced films, 4 Times That Night and The Devil's Lover. So let's start out, of course, 4 Times That Night, which if you want to watch it, it is available on Daily Motion with commercials. That's the only place I could find it where it was English dub. Okay. I had to, read subtitles on The Devil's Lover. I didn't want to have to read subtitles on both of them. So that's what I've picked as far as my version of 4 Times That Night. Now, Dick Randall is producer, but he's under the name Claudio Reynes, I think. And this came out in 1971. Dick Randall does have an acting part in this as well, as he has a few of these that I've talked about. So what is 4 Times That Night about? Well, it is a movie about the perspective of what happens between this couple on their first date from 4 different perspectives. It's taken from the man's side, the woman's side, the kinky, lecherous doorman played by Dick Randall, and a psychologist. Now, keep in mind, if you do watch this on Daily Motion, probably if you watch it anywhere, this is going to be the case. A lot of the segments, there's, I think, a couple of segments with the psychologist, and there's no audio. There's no audio of any kind for it. And I tried the subtitles, and the subtitles didn't work. They just put OH there. I was like, okay, that's no help. But you do hear Tim Lucas, a video review guy, telling you that there is no audio for that because these scenes that are being shown were cut. Hence, I guess the audio was lost. So, other than that, you can hear the audio for the rest of the movie. And so you have this guy who's trying to pick up women. I think that guy is played by Brett Halsey, who showed up in some Lucio Fulci films and probably showed up in some other Italian films over the years. But I'm just remembering, I'm pretty sure he was one of the guys in The Devil's Honey, which is not one of my favorite Lucio Fulci. I can't talk. Lucio Fulci films. It's basically Sleaze Cities, what it is. But I know a lot of guys like it, and they like the poster, and all of that. So, and if you don't know what the poster has on it for The Devil's Honey, I say go seek it out, and you will find out. So, so he tries to pick up one woman, and she looks at him like he's some dog poop that she scraped off the bottom of her shoe. And he drives on, and then he sees another girl in this short red dress, bent over, tending to her dog. You can almost see her ass. Thank you, Blissful. Blissful says, please hit the thumbs up. Thank you. And I thank Blissful for saying that as well. Because honestly, I'm not complaining, but my streams have not been doing too well as of late. People have been watching stuff on the replay, just the live streams, no matter what time I put them at. Not too many people are coming into them, but I'm thankful for Blissful and anybody else that is watching as I do this. And you can watch it on the replay. That's what the great thing about YouTube is. They'll be on YouTube later. So, he strikes up a conversation with the girl, or tries to, and she runs away and hides. Why an adult woman, why she would run, and she's trying to keep her dog quiet. We don't want him to find us and bother us. So he ends up persuading her to go on a date with him, and he goes to her house and meets her mother, and her mother is all about money and how much money you spend on clothes and all that. So she's bought her daughter this really pretty dress, and it costs a lot of money. She has to make sure she tells everybody about it. So they go on a date, and her mother's asked her to be back by a certain time. From the woman's perspective, remember, this is told from 4 different perspectives. The woman comes home at 3 a.m. or the girl comes home at 3 a.m. and her mother's like, where have you been? And what happened to your dress? Your dress is torn. And she proceeds to tell her mother that the guy, John, tried to rape her. And she tells the story of how he wanted to stop off at his apartment, and he kind of lured her into his apartment, and then tried to take advantage of her and called her a bitch and some other names, slapped her around and all of that. So that was her story. So then we get John's story. John, played by Brett Halsey, who proceeds to tell his buddies that she was a complete nympho, and would not let him alone. And, I'm like, what guy acts like this? This is kind of weird, So that was his story. He did everything he could to get rid of her and get away from her. And she just, oh, John, please, please, and get naked and all that stuff. So, and then we have the story from the lecherous doorman, played by Dick Randall, who just likes to sit around cutting naked pictures of women out of, men's magazines and putting them up all over his walls. He tells the milkman what he saw through binoculars and stuff from outside the apartment. And his story is that the the man and woman came into the apartment, and then this other couple came, and the guy appears to be homosexual, and the woman appears to be lesbian, and she tries to take advantage of the girl, and John ends up going into his bedroom with the guy, and we're led to believe that they have a rendezvous in his bedroom, and that the woman gets so upset. Uh, Tina is her name. The woman gets so upset because the other woman tells her, if you don't believe me that they're in there messing around, open the door and look in there. And we don't see anything, but she's just mortified, and she goes crying to the other woman, and the other woman has spiked her drink or drugged her drink. And the next thing you see is Tina naked, kind of passed out, and that woman rubbing like a big feather on her butt and stuff. So that was the lecherous doorman, played by Dick Randall. That was his story to the milkman. And then you have the psychologist, who there is a little bit of audio with that. And he says, I suppose you are thinking, well, what really did happen? And so his version of the story is that they go on a very nice date. There's no, odd things that happen. There's no attempted rape. There, or I shouldn't say that word, attempted attack, sexually attacked is probably a better way to say that. And there's no, other couple that comes and wants to, have, sexual rendezvous with them. There's none of that. They just go out on a regular date, and they do get stuck where his apartment is because the gate is stuck, and they have to get Dick Randall to come out there, the doorman, and get them out, as well as get that other couple out who they don't seem to know. John doesn't seem to know or anything in this version of the story. And they agreed to see each other more and see what happens. And, they don't have sex or anything like that. So I don't know. It was okay. A lot of people make fun of Dick Randall and say, well, he couldn't act, and he shouldn't even be in these things and all that. But I think he adds such a bit of comedy that it kind of balances everything out. And this was a very short film, about an hour and 9 minutes. I think this might have been missing the title at the beginning, but not much else, other than the missing audio, which is evidently in any version that you watch. But it was just okay. I don't see it as something that I'm necessarily going to go right back out and watch again. People that like sexploitation movies might like it a little bit more, but it was just okay for me. It wasn't great. It wasn't awful. I'll go ahead and give it 3 deadites out of 5 because it was worth it to see the blunderings of, of Dick Randall in this. That was my favorite part of the whole entire movie. All right. So moving on to The Devil's Lover. Okay, The Devil's Lover has Edmund Purdom from Pieces and Don't Open Till Christmas and a Tour of the Fighting Eagle and a ton of other stuff playing the devil. Okay, so this movie is kind of like a mix and match type of deal. So we have Rosalba Neary, Helga, and her 2 friends who we don't know why they're driving up to this castle. We can find out, as the movie moves along, that they've come there to view the castle, to tour the castle or whatever. And I don't know why they're so excited to tour this stuffy old castle, but they are. So they think they're too late. They think that the castle is closed for the day, and they're so disappointed. And then a guy who looks kind of like a butler comes to the door, the entryway to the castle, and he says, "Oh, you know, you can tour the castle." And he's, basically says the owner is already gone for the day or something to that effect, but that he will show them around. So we see Rosalba Neri's character of Helga walking through the corridors in this castle, and she comes upon a picture that looks like her. And the woman's being burned, and she says, "I was burned. I was burned." And she just seems to pass out. And when she comes to, she's in another time period. Um, and she's still Helga, but she's going to marry some guy named Hans. And this is back in the days when, they would burn witches. Okay. So she woke up in that time period. And she's so happy. And her two friends from the main reality are here in this story, and they're her friends. She's got two sisters and a mother and a father, and they're all preparing for her to marry Hans, and everybody's so happy. And her mother is helping her get her wedding dress ready. And um, all of a sudden, um, Helga says that she's cursed. So she goes to see this old woman, and this old woman tells her, "Well, this is how remove the curse." And she tells her to take, two other virgins like her to this place, and then the curse will be lifted from her. So when they get to this place, there are people that have been hanged. And that's kind of gruesome. You don't see a whole lot, but it just, the whole scene is kind of creepy and gruesome. But for me, that's the only scene that really is. And so then her friends get kidnapped, and it looks like they're set upon by vampires, because when they show back up later and Helga's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so glad to see you," they look dead, and they look like they've got bites on their necks. But it doesn't seem like traditional vampires, because I don't see any sharp teeth or anything like that. But they've got well, they're kind of bigger than regular vampire marks, but that's what it appears to be. And meanwhile, you have kept seeing this man everywhere. Everybody keeps seeing this guy with a triangle shaped hood, red hood over his face. And everybody's kind of, unsettled about it. So eventually, this turns out to be Edmund Purdom. And Edmund Purdom is, yeah, you guessed it, he's the devil. And he's seducing Rosalba Neri, Helga. And, you see plenty of boobage from almost all the women in this movie. So, it wasn't really my cup of tea, because I'm not really interested in um, the exploitation movies that show so much skin and don't really have anything else of substance behind them. And I don't think Steve liked this one as well as he has other Rosalba Neri movies. I think he just thought it was okay too. I could be wrong, but um, so you have, a comedic part at the end, because Helga comes to and she's back in her reality. It doesn't really resolve anything. It's like poof, she disappears out of that reality and comes back to the present time. And she just wakes up. She's in a bed in the castle. She wakes up. She goes out to her car. Her friends are already in the car, and they just leave. Meanwhile, we see the guy that's kind of like the butler guy inside the castle. And guess who he's talking to? He's talking to Edmund Purdom. And Helga noticed when she left the castle that picture was no longer there of her burning. Well, guess who has it? Edmund Purdom has it in his like little office space. And he, kind of metaphorically winks at the camera, and, and that's it, you know. So not really a lot to talk about with this movie. This one came out in 1972, so we're still in that early 70s um, set of movies. And this is listed as horror. It's an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 18 minutes to hour and 20 minutes. Um, and it basically on IMDb says creepy tale about a sorrowful night passed in a nightmarish castle. I don't agree with that, but whatever. So the House of the Demon, many horror elements are mixed with erotic atmosphere. There is erotic atmosphere. There are horror elements in it. But I honestly don't see myself going back and ever watching this one again either. I think the best thing about this was Edmund Purdom. I'm a huge fan of Edmund Purdom anyway, from the other movies he has been in. Um, but he was the highlight of this. Because, like I said, I'm not interested in seeing naked Rosalba Neary. I'm not interested in seeing these other women naked. Men may find this more interesting than I did. But if I did watch it, I would probably just fast forward to the Edmund Purdom scenes, which there's a handful of those. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 3 deadites out of 5. Some people might find it interesting enough to want to watch. But it just doesn't have a lot there. Not a lot of substance there, right? There's a lot of flesh there, but not a lot of substance. So I've talked for about 27 minutes on here, close to 30 minutes. Blissful, thank you for staying with me for the duration. I've seen a few other people pop in and out of here as I've went along. Evidently making these later does no good either. So I may be, competing for, other time slots and stuff like that where other people are doing stuff. Deadpick could be doing something tonight. I don't know. But I hope, that people will still continue to watch these on the replay because, like I said, people are watching them on the replay. And maybe my takeaway from this is that they would maybe do better as pre-recorded videos. However, I'm also trying to give people plenty of opportunities to come in on live streams, give their $5 super chat or more, and pick a movie for me to review. So I figured the more of these I put out, the more chances it would give people to get in here and, do that if they wish to do so. But I guess that is all from me, folks. I'm off like a dirty shirt. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do before I get off of here for the night, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday night, folks. And I'll see everybody next time.